The story of Job in the Bible is a profound exploration of suffering, faith, and divine providence. It spans 42 chapters in the book of Job, and within its pages, we find rich narratives, intricate dialogues, and poignant reflections on the human condition. To capture the essence of Job's experience, let us embark on a journey through his trials and triumphs, punctuated by his prayers and the opinions of those who surrounded him. Chapter 1: The Righteous Man. In the land of Uz lived a man named Job. He was blameless, upright, and feared God. Job was blessed with wealth, a loving family, and a reputation for righteousness. As we see in Job 1:1 that says,
There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil.
One day the heavenly beings presented themselves before God, and among them was Satan, the accuser. God pointed out Job's righteousness, but Satan argued that Job's faithfulness was only because of his prosperity. God permitted Satan to test Job with the condition that his life be spared. Chapter 2: Suffering Begins. Satan afflicted Job with a series of trials. His livestock was plundered, his servants slain, and his children perished in a mighty wind. Despite these tragedies, Job did not curse God, and he said,
Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Job 1:21.
Chapter 3: Job's Lament. Overwhelmed by grief and anguish, Job cursed the day of his birth, longing for death to end his suffering. He questioned why he was allowed to live if only to endure such misery.
Why did I not die at birth, come out from the womb and expire?
Chapter 4-31: Dialogues and Debates. Job's three friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came to comfort him. They sat with him in silence for 7 days, observing his anguish. When Job finally spoke, pouring out his lamentations, his friends entered into a series of debates with him. Eliphaz suggested that Job's suffering was a result of sin, urging him to repent and seek God's forgiveness. Bildad and Zophar echoed similar sentiments, attributing Job's afflictions to his purported transgressions. And Job kept his faith, saying,
As for me, I would seek God, and to God would I commit my cause.
Job vehemently defended his innocence, arguing that his suffering was unjust. He questioned the righteousness of God's judgment and longed for an audience with the Almighty to plead his case.
Though he slay me, I will hope in him, yet I will argue my ways to his face.
Chapter 32-37: Elihu's Intervention. A young man named Elihu, who had been listening to the debates, spoke out with righteous indignation. He rebuked Job's friends for their failure to answer Job's arguments and offered his own insights. Elihu emphasized the righteousness and justice of God, asserting that he does not pervert justice. He also reminded Job of God's greatness and sovereignty over creation.
Behold, God is great, and we know him not. The number of his years is unsearchable.
Chapter 38-41: God's Response. Finally, God himself answered Job out of the whirlwind. He challenged Job's presumptions and revealed the limitations of human understanding. God spoke of his power and wisdom, displayed in the wonders of creation.
Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me, if you have understanding.
Job humbled himself before God, acknowledging his ignorance and insignificance in the face of divine majesty. He repented of his questioning and accepted God's sovereignty over all things.
I know that you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted.
Chapter 42: Restoration and Blessing. In response to Job's humility and faith, God restored his fortunes twofold. He gave Job new livestock, blessed him with more children, and granted him a long life. Job's family and friends came to comfort him, and they shared in his joy and prosperity. Job 42:12 says,
And the Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning. And he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys.
Through his trials and tribulations, Job's faith remained steadfast. He emerged from the crucible of suffering with a deeper understanding of God's sovereignty and a renewed sense of purpose. the story of Job serves as a timeless reminder of the enduring power of faith in the face of adversity,